All right here on OneSoccer. Hello, everyone. You are watching Matchday Live, presented by CIBC. Annie Petrillo, Jordan Wilson, Jess Lisi with you. This has shifted to Columbus, Ohio, and as you saw, the weather is great. It's not the waterlogged pitch that we saw the last time in the semifinal of the Gold Cup. No excuses.
No water.
Fair game. No water. This is what I want to know. Canada, do they have what it takes to beat the United States?
I think so, but they got to show it today. I mean, yeah, there's some injuries. I would love to see a side with Nichelle Prince in it today, but you're looking at this past match with Canada and the U.S. It was just the mistakes, really, that led to Canada's demise, right? Big ones as well. Pass back to the keeper, two players going for the same ball. But Canada did enough to get back in the match. I think tonight they just have to be on the front foot and be ready to go and attack. And if they can do that, they can be successful.
Yeah, I agree. And we've spoken so much. This U.S. team is in transition. If Canada's going to beat the U.S., it's going to be now. And I think that, not to say that Canada can't beat them in their prime. They absolutely can. But I just think Canada falls because they lack consistency against the U.S. Even if they do bring the hunger, it's always a mistake, like Jordan said, that, and they end up a goal behind. So I would just really love Canada to play their game, come out hungry, and just give it their all.
Yeah, they were really looking forward to that game at the CONCACAF Gold Cup, the inaugural Gold Cup, and by the way, the Americans going on to be crowned the champions. So even though they're in transition, this is what I mean by still a formidable force, because they're still managing to win trophies. But the Canadians right now, despite some injuries, still feel like they are a strong side. As we take a look at their starting 11, brought to you by GE, and Bev right now opting to go back to a bit more of a 3-4-3. That's what we've seen before, especially in attack. She'll definitely want Becky and Lawrence to come back a little bit more, create a 5 at the back when they're on defense. And we are going to see the change really here is Lacasse out, so Awujo is going on in because, Jordan, in that game against Brazil, and we all agreed that it was great for Bev Priestman to experiment, but thank goodness after the first half she figured out the 3-diamond 3 was not working. So what do you make of her going back to this formation and this personnel?
And we said this is no time for experimentation or tinkerage. Look up the word tinkerage. This is the time to go and win. I like that, but speaking to her yesterday, Jess, Andy, it's just about the diamonds, right? Now everyone has a clear, distinct role. Wide players, be wide, be dangerous. Simi Awujo, Jesse Fleming, be the stability. And then the 3, go and create. Make sure you're going and attacking and you stay compact defensively.
Yeah, and we've also seen Canada in this formation. This is where they've thrived. They've thrived on the flank, right? We want to see those partnerships. And again, I think to beat the U.S., they have to be their best today. And in this formation so far, this is where we've seen them the best in attack. So I'm excited. I'm excited that they've gone back to this. I love that there's no diamond in there. It wasn't working at all in both of our opinions, as we said last time. But, I'm excited to see this lineup and a few new faces in there as well.
Yeah, no one really liked it, I don't think, after that first 45, which is why Bev's changed it up in the second half. But a player who did have some chances, even in that formation, and it was great to see her back, Janine Beckie. What did you like about her game? Yeah,
you know what? The thing about Janine Beckie is you're getting 100% from her. She is always going to be up and down that wing, giving 100%. Whether, she finished those 2 opportunities or not, she definitely could have done better with them. There was this one specifically, where, she just had to keep going across, but she took a bad touch to her left, and it ended up killing her angle. And then this one, she didn't need to redirect it as much as she tried to. She kind of just had to, put it back towards the net. There would have at least been a rebound out of it. But overall, Janine Beckie is a player that you're going to get 100% from, and she's got the feet. She's just a great player.
And you said a number I like, 100. She's had over 100 appearances. It's just that mature figure that you get on the pitch as well. Yeah, you get the Simi Awujo, young players that have a high ceiling, but you still need those vets, right? That you don't really need a coach. Bev can guide, but you don't have to be on them every minute. And you see with her, it's just a bit of rust, which you got to play to kind of get that off you. I think it was imperative that Bev played her 45. Maybe tonight you can play her 60 or push her a little bit more. But she's vital to this team, just the leadership that she brings.
Yeah, because some of those things that you pointed out, that to me speaks to just being out of that game shape and more of the decision making, right? Because physically she's ready to go, but it was those little mistakes that you're like, oh, if you were just a little bit sharper, because you would have been playing. That to me is what showed the year and a bit off, right?
She's in the right spaces. She's doing everything right. It's just that final product. So I think it'll come.
Going to go back to our conversation with Bev Priestman a couple days ago when I asked her, do you have an Olympic roster that's set in your brain and really you're just seeing bubble players or depth players? And she went, no. the roster. No, we're still trying to figure that out, especially at that forward line. And when you look at this forward position once again, Deanne Rose, she's tried her at the number 9. Now she's out on the flank. Haidema, we've seen her at the number 9. She's out of the side. It's Adriana Leon who's now in that number 9 position. She actually wants to see perhaps Becky and Haidema create some sort of partnership. At that forward position, is that where you think Bev is struggling the most?
Yeah, in ways, I would say for sure. Just because I think there's a lot of similar players at the position. And then, dare I say, I don't think there's someone that has taken that full step to be like, I'm this person. But I like a lot about this goal right here is Leon played down the middle, played the ball wide. And look at the numbers for Canada in the box, right? To go and tie it up. Haidema, you have Lawrence across, Leon's in there. You have everyone willing. Viennes was in there trying to get in the mix. This is what Canada need to do tonight playing against the Americans is maybe there's no clear number 9. There's no clear winger to go and start. But attack by committee. Go with numbers, 3, 4, 5 in the box, hungry to get a goal.
Yeah, and we spoke about Canada has had a lot of their success in that final third by getting that cross in,
Yes,
right? They are
preach.
a crossing team. We've seen so many players like Haidema, when Gilles is in the box, they're able to get their head on it. Leon's not afraid to get in there. There's a bunch of players in Canada's final third that are not afraid to use their head, not afraid to put their body on the line. So I agree. I think that that's the hardest decision right now. It is interesting to see Adriana Leon is in that 9 position, but she is very good dropping off of the front. Jordan Haidema, great on the flank as well. So I'm excited to see this partnership as well between Becky and Haidema and see if, something builds there.
Reminder, Nichelle Prince, who really solidified that number 9 spot, getting injured at the Gold Cup, because you'd have to think if she comes back, she's fit, that would be her. And then the decisions are really just on the flank there for Bev Priestman. Another reason why, going back to the 3-diamond 3, that a lot of people didn't like it was because Jessie Fleming was doing all, as you called it, busy work. This is one of your best players. This is your creative player, and she was cleaning up the mess. Bev Priestman basically acknowledging that. So now she has a midfielder, she has a partner in tonight's game. That's Simi Awujo. Quinn is injured. So that is one option that is not there for Bev Priestman. So do you think Awujo has kind of put herself in that position where she will be the starter, depending on the game, either her or Quinn? And Julia Grosso, it looks more and more like this is an impact player off the bench.
Yeah, dare I say it, Simi Awujo for me just has the most upside. Because of her physicality, because that she's so young, the fact that she can skip by a player, which is so important. When you're in the midfield, Andy Petrillo, and you've played, but you're the decorated player, you're the 10. You're the sexy player.
I was center bench. But
nah, you were, all the clips I saw, the vintage clips, you're never on the bench. You're always playing. But you want to, all jokes aside, you want to get past the player in the midfield. You want to make it a 3v2 or 2v1. Simi Awujo has that ability to skip by someone and free up the space. Quinn, they're great on the ball, great passer, but doesn't really go by someone. Julia Grosso does go by someone, but then maybe lacks a bit of the defensive composure and the tenacity that you need. Simi Awujo, this is a night of retribution because pumping her up at Gold Cup in the semifinal, then it was Wildwater Kingdom in a match that you can't really show. But you get 35 days later, you get this opportunity now to go out and show that you have the muscle, the brains to go in and beat the Americans.
Yeah, I agree. I think Simi Awujo is the correct choice right now. I've been going for Grosso here. I'm a huge Grosso fan, right?
Yeah.
But I think that in this formation specifically, when Grosso and Fleming are next to each other, it does get a little difficult. Both of them aren't able to just go forward. You do want Jessie Fleming on the ball, but you also want Julia Grosso on the ball. So one of them has to sacrifice what they're great at. So I think Simi Awujo really allows Jessie to get the ball, be free, and do what she does best, which is go create plays and create space for her players. So I'm in agreement with this.
But to answer your question as well, Andy, Julia Grosso coming off the bench is a world I like.
Yeah.
Not saying that she's a bench player, but the game's open. Yeah, 25 minutes left in the game where you need a bit of spark, you need to throw caution to the wind, go forward. Grosso's that person that can go by someone, score, left foot is sweet. That's someone you want on the pitch when the game's a bit more open and stretched.
John Herdman is the one who taught me, we're not talking about bench players or substitutes, impact players, because everyone has a role to play. And if that's what Julia Grosso brings, that's what she brings right now. At least that's what it seems in Bev Priestman's lineup. Let's take a look at the United States starting 11, brought to you by GE. As we said, this is a roster in transition, although you will see at the number 9 there. That is Alex Morgan, who, by the way, did not make that Gold Cup roster. There was an injury. She got called in. She still looked good, getting a chance here as well at the SheBelieves Cup, but a lot of new names there as well. A ton of depth. Would you say that's what continues to make them dangerous?
Yeah, and then depth in the attacking third. I think that's what it really is. Justin and I are laughing just because when you look at the list, it's like, oh, You're looking at the bench. The bench players could also start and be so impactful. I'm excited to see the matchups today. Shaw on that one side against our speedy Jade Rose. Like, I'd love to see, oh, it's going to be nice as well. Smith, Buchanan, love to see Buchanan with those slide tackles. But this is a nice U.S. Front four, front five, how they go forward. They're very aggressive. But Canada, if they can find those gaps and pick the right moments to play long or to combine and play short, this will be a thrilling game, Jess.
Yeah, the thing about the U.S. is they always find a way to win. Even when they aren't having, maybe the cleanest or greatest game, they're able to come together and collectively win as a group. And I think that's what makes them so dangerous. And their depth is what's dangerous. You look at young players that are, coming out of nowhere, and they are the impact players. They are the ones that are scoring the goals, and you don't see that often. There's no transition period between, you're 18, 19 years old, you're coming up, it takes time. They're in there, and they're the ones getting the goals, putting the ball in the back of the net, so this is exciting.
Yeah, all the names between Smith herself, we just saw Shaw, even Trinity Rodman, and you're right. That game, by the way, if we go back to Gold Cup against Columbia, it was not good. But they still found a way to stay on their feet, get that win, go on to the final, beat Brazil 1-0. So, yeah, they're not smashing teams, but they're still winning. All right, Season 6 is upon us of the Canadian Premier League, ladies and gentlemen, and we're going to start things off with a triple header. You ready? Going to get some sleep?
I'm ready.
Electrolytes?
I'm ready.
April 13th, all three of those games will be right here on OneSoccer, as well as the rest of the season, your home of the CPL. It is United States versus Canada, Lower.com Field in Columbus, Ohio. It is shifted there. The final of the SheBelieves Cup is coming up on OneSoccer. Stay with us.
Over, brilliant! What a strike! Again I say, who else?
From the edge of your seat or up on your feet, let them hear you cheer. Access Storage, proudly supporting Canada Soccer's women's national team on their road to Paris 2024.
The scene has shifted to Columbus, Ohio. It's the final of the SheBelieves Cup. We are working our way towards kickoff between Canada and the United States as we welcome you back inside our OneSoccer studio. The last two matches for the Canadians have ended in penalty kicks. There was the semifinal at the Gold Cup against the Americans that did not go the way for the Canadians. And then there was right here at the SheBelieves Cup. They beat Brazil on penalty kicks to be here and face the Americans. So good and bad. Let's begin with the bad. Jess and Jordan, of how the Canadians do in PKs.
Speaking of bad, Andy Petrillo, it just reminds me of being a child. My mother said, eat your vegetables. I would just scarf those down, get rid of the bad, and I get to enjoy the meat. Perfect. Now we want to just dive into the bad, and 35 days ago, the penalty shootout with the Americans. Adriana Leon just scored here, Jess, right, to tie it up and to send to PKs. And then this is the one that she decides to take. And there's a few things that we want to highlight and a theme. Right when we pause it here, look at this, okay? So for me, these are the areas you want to get. Right? It seems quite obvious, but you want to get into these goal-scoring positions, slide them in, because no keeper can save them. If you're already looking at Naya's footwork for the American, very good goalkeeper, but she's saying everything, right? She's on that left foot, ready to dive on the right. If she's putting all that weight on the left, there's no way that she could dive to her left, right? So these are the things. Does Leon look up? Personally, I didn't like to look up. I like to know where I was going and just put it in that corner. However, she's telegraphing. But Leon is as well. Her body position is saying she can only go one spot, right? With her hips being open. As she takes a strike, right? They are great to go out, but it's one of those positions where you have to really put it in the corner. Hide them up. We talked to Bev Priestman yesterday, Jess. This one, that Superman stance. But you could take this as we go forward. This one as well. It's similar to Leon's.
Yeah, you know, this isn't well-struck, PK, so I do want to say that. But, you know, we spoke about those danger zones. You just pointed that out. Jordan Huitema goes exactly where Nair is able to get that hand on it, and she as well is showing her exactly where she's going. Nair is ready. You can see her again starting to get ready off of that left foot to be able to dive to her right. So this is not a well-struck PK. That's the biggest thing here. Jordan Huitema didn't look too confident stepping up.
It's also the body position, right? Like when you're leaning, it's so hard to go another way. You almost have to telegraph it differently and not put yourself in that position. Fleming looked nervous. I don't really buy into the facial expression sometimes. Sometimes you're nervous and you smash the top corner, but you could see that her nervousness translated into her follow through. Right? She didn't strike it well enough. Didn't strike it with conviction.
Yeah,
there's no power.
Off of that, it almost looks like Jessie Fleming's trying to curve this a little bit instead of just going through it. Again, it is not placed well. It is right in Nair's, right to her ability to be able to get there. She is a good goalkeeper, so it's not to take away from her. But if you're placing it in the corners, out of the danger zone, it's very difficult for a keeper, no matter how great they are, to be able to get their hand on it.
What personally bothered me was the 3 penalties that went the same spot. Yeah. Nair was literally living on that left leg to go to her right, and you just wanted to see the Canadians pick a corner, pick a spot, shoot with some authority, but they didn't. However, they did the other day, and now we get to focus on the good, which we're done with the vegetables. Let's get to the good. Look, power stance, superhero, big deep breath. Leon looks confident, ready to strike that. Boom, look at that body position. She already sold that she's going this way, but this is a nice little pass into the corner. But you see, what we need to mention as well, Jess, and I know because I've seen you take pens, you follow through. When you put the ball down and you go, you don't just shoot and then stand. You're striking straight, like a pendulum, straight through. And this is what you see with Leon right here. Right? Look where she ends up. The spots here, she ends up a yard forward because she puts power, there's confidence in her strike, and we can see it again, a better look here.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely. And this is 12 yards out. We have to remember that. Everybody at this level is able to do that, but it's about the confidence. Look at that. That smirk says it all.
That 20-year-old smile. Look, this wasn't the best game for Jade Rose, but this was a moment that I love because giving the keeper the eyes is the thing. You're saying I'm going this way, but no, I'm going that way. Her hips are lined straight forward at this point, but then just turns at the last second. No keeper can save that because you sold them a dream that you're going here. And you can see with the footwork, right? She almost hops, then lands and comes over. She gives the hips open, boom.
That's a very confident strike. To be able to do that, that's not easy to do. To go across your body is a very difficult thing. I'm a big fan of that, but a lot of coaches...
That's your pen.
It is. That's my pen.
Okay. For the scouts looking, that's just Lisi's pen. Owujo's is the best because she starts in the middle, goes off to the left, right? So already that movement, you have to be so confident. And you mentioned it off air, Jess, that most people already stand here and either choose a corner, but that middle stance to run, it just shows confidence.
It does, because you know what? A lot of people... PKs are a huge mental game. That's the biggest thing to take away from them because, again, this is 12 yards out. Everyone at this level is able to bury it. But to be able to take that and change your route to the ball, that takes a lot of confidence. A lot of people psych themselves out when they try to, make it fancy going up to the ball. So this is huge confidence from Simi Awujo and from somebody that's so young. That's great to see.
The lady to score and to give Canada the gold and to change the color look very calm. She's a substitute in this match. But that left foot, just tell everyone what you told me about the left, which I've never heard before in my life.
So this is a coach's dream. This is the perfect PK. I've had so many coaches try to switch up the way I take PKs. They want left foot, left side, right foot, right side. So Julia Grosso is a coach's dream right here. It's a very...
She's obedient. She said lefty, lefty.
And it works. I'm not going to say it doesn't work. It works. That was well struck. It was well placed. That was a perfect PK.
Again, that fall through, right? Look where the spot is. Look where she ends up, a yard and a half forward. But she knew where she was going. No keeper can save that when she hit it. It literally hit the inside, almost of the post, and going in. No keeper saving that. So this is beautiful, beautiful stuff.
Yeah, and you know what? Contrary to some popular belief, there's a lot of strategy that goes into PKs. Bev Priestman shared that they actually have 2 of those mannequins in goal during practice. They both go each way because it's about placement for the players. And statistics show the longer a shooter waits after the whistle is blown, the greater chance they have of scoring. How about that? Did you know any of that, Jordan? Maybe you would have scored some of the PKs. You didn't!
Stop it.
The 2024 Canadian Championship begins on April 23rd. The journey begins towards hoisting the Voyageurs Cup. Vanni Sartini, head coach of Vancouver Whitecaps, Jordan, he's laid the gauntlet down. He's like, we're the best Canadian team, and we're not getting any love. I don't know. We got to see. Three-peat, that's for sure. We're getting closer to kickoff inside Lower.com Field. United States, Canada, the final of the SheBelieves Cup right here on OneSoccer. You continue to watch Matchday Live, presented by CIBC.
Canada's women's national team on OneSoccer is brought to you by Toyota.
Toyota's electrified vehicles are for everyone. Every chauffeur, snack connoisseur, every scenery soaker, practical joker, every road tripper, toe dipper, every 9-to-5er, every long driver. Starting over 20 years ago with the Prius, we now have the largest lineup of electrified vehicles in Canada because this journey belongs to everyone.
Access Storage, proudly supporting Canada Soccer's women's national team on their road to Paris 2024.
Gatorade, with electrolytes to help replenish what's lost in sweat, carbs to help fuel your working muscles, and fluids to help you hydrate. Scientifically formulated so you never stop competing.
I do this for my town, my time, my time. None of you people can tell me to stop.
Rehydrate, replenish, refuel. Gatorade.
CanadaSoccerStore.com is the official home for the widest range of Canada Soccer licensed products, match jerseys, and fanwear.
There's a reason why Canada wants to face the United States is because they want to close up the gap in that record. As you can see, Canada's all-time record versus the USA. The last time they beat them, it was a huge deal. It was the semifinal of the Tokyo Olympics. Jessie Fleming scoring the PK in regulation time. They beat them. That was like the first time in a couple decades they go on to the final. We know the rest there that happened at the Olympics. But at the end of the day, this is a team, the Americans, who have had the Canadians' number, which is why they were so excited to go up against them in the semifinal of the Gold Cup, and which is why they hated that Mother Nature did what she did to that pitch. But here we go again. What do the Canadians need to do to actually beat the Americans?
Can we just pause that for a second?
Yes.
Today is your birthday.
Oh my goodness.
Happy
What's happening right now?
That was mine. Look at that. It's Andy Petrillo's birthday.
We're gonna put this on because
What?
Birthday girl.
It lights up, but
Go ahead.
Oh
Well done,
my
Jess
God.
Lisi.
somewhere.
Well,
Nah, you look so pretty.
is this the strategy? It's my birthday, so that's why Canada's going to
It
win?
is. They got to bring some Andy Petrillo energy.
Do it for Andy. Do it for Andy.
This is so ridiculous.
Look, how do they win?
How do they win? Tell me how
Okay,
they win.
for me, it's not that deep or difficult. It's just not about making those big mistakes, right?
Okay.
That match, when you played 35 days ago, is very close. But then you make those glaring mistakes, and it's hard to crawl back and get into the game. But Canada did it twice. But tonight, I just want to see a side that isn't naive. If the Americans go and press, play a bit longer. If there's space to play within the lines. But when you have those moments to go forward, to go and attack, that's your time to express yourself. But don't give up the ball 30 yards from your goal and make it easy for the Americans. Because for me, they're a bit more athletic. They have more depth. Right? And that's not to say that they're a better team, but you just have to be smarter if you're Canada and be in those positions so you can go capitalize on the other end.
Yeah, I think the obvious answer is to eliminate, the Americans
I'm sorry, you
and their
can't take me
attacking
seriously.
threat. Players like, excuse me, I'm talking.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, they're, eliminate the Americans and their attacking threat. Players like Lindsey Horan, you got to shut her down. Jaden Shaw has been on fire. They have so many players that, no matter they're coming off the bench or not, they're a force. So I think that's the obvious answer, but I also think Canada has to feed into their strengths, which again, I keep going back to their partnerships on the flank. That is going to be huge for them to be able to get the balls in the box and also to finish. They need to be clinical today because you're not going to get 10, 15 shots on goal like they were getting in the early games of the Gold Cup. You're going to get maybe 1, 2 that are great. You have to finish them. And I think if the Canadians are clinical tonight, they can win.
And to your point, Jess, I think embracing that underdog mentality is important. It's been 20 years since you haven't won on American soil. There is no pressure.
Yeah.
You are the little brother or little sister about to play that big sister. There's nothing. If you get a knockout, celebrate that. I have a brother that's 5 years older than me. If we were to fight, if I win, I'm loving this. This is that moment. And I use that analogy to say that there's no pressure. The pressure's on the Americans. This is going to be their 5th consecutive SheBelieves Cup if they win. They've beaten Spain, Iceland, they've beaten Japan last year. This is their tournament to go and win. Canada could just be the ones to really just take the rug from underneath them and go out and play the game. So there's no pressure. Go out and enjoy it.
And obviously, it's a mental game. And that's the thing the Canadians need to remember, that even under the worst of conditions, they still managed to tie that game up in the semifinal of the Gold Cup. It just came down to penalties. Yes, you're going to take me seriously with my sash on. So it's about the mental game. Just stay strong. This
Come on,
is
Canada.
what it takes. Here we go. SheBelieves Cup. Who will be the winner of the 9th edition? We are in Columbus, Ohio, United States, Canada. We're going to go celebrate. Now I'm going to figure out how this actually lights up. Thank you so much. This has got to be it. Good luck, Charm. Let's see if they can actually win. It's coming up right here on OneSoccer.
Allstate and its 900 agents proudly support Canadian soccer at every level. Visit allstate.ca.
From the edge of your seat or up on your feet, let them hear you cheer.
There's a shot. It is over. Brilliant. What a strike. Again, I say, who else?
How do you go from the best to the ultimate without breaking the bank? You choose the big, bold, ultimate taste of ultimate chicken sausages and hot dogs. Choose ultimate taste and value, only from Maple Lodge Farms.
Would you like the extended warranty for $150?
Go ad-free for $29.99.
Only 3 easy payments of $49.99 if you act now.
We make thousands of financial decisions every day. Each one affects bigger decisions tomorrow. Stay on top of it all with the CIBC Smart Account.
This match is brought to you by CIBC, Canada Soccer's lead partner.
And
Lower.com Field in Columbus, Ohio. Canada and the United States meet for the second time in 35 days. And it is a do-over that the Canadians have been asking for since the full-time whistles blew on that waterlogged pitch in San Diego, California. Canada a chance to lift the SheBelieves Cup for the first time. It would be their first title non-Olympic since the Algarve Cup some 8 years ago. In order to do it, they have to get past a side they've only beat 4 times, and in fact have not beat in the United States since November 11th, 2000. You know where that match was played, Canada? In Columbus, Ohio. The national anthems are next. We'll come back with starting 11s and team news.
Fans, please remain standing and welcome country singer-songwriter, former D1 soccer player and actress, Grace Lear, to perform the Star-Spangled Banner.
Can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
The 66th meeting of bitter rivals and closest neighbors. Canada ranked number 9 in the world. The United States of America, the world's 4th best nation. They square off in Columbus, Ohio tonight as the U.S. look to win this